Before we get to the movie, I want to talk about a coincidence that recently happened involving this show. On May 16th, we released an episode of Unboxing, and we made some comments about Dabney Coleman. And that was the day he passed away.
Crazy.
Yep, he was 92 years old. Growing up, I always knew that if you needed a cynical blowhard in a movie or TV show, you cast Dabney Coleman.
Totally.
I'm saying this to say that Welcome to the Basement had nothing to do with the passing of Mr. Coleman. I disavow all knowledge and responsibility of that event.
It was not a cause and effect.
No, definitely not.
A similar thing happened to me. I was at a Halloween party once, and I played Jack Horkheimer.
The Star Hustler.
The Star Hustler, right. I think University of Miami, he used to appear on PBS and talk about what you could see in the sky tonight.
We could see him on PBS in Green Bay.
Yeah, and in Wausau, too. At the party, I was like, oh, I don't even know if he's still alive. And then literally the next day, he passed away.
Dabney and Horkheimer, you will both be missed.
Both missed dearly.
Welcome back to the second half of Cartoon June. I have an animated film in this envelope, and I picked it out especially for you, Brad Knight. Because I know that probably your favorite genre of movie is fantasy. And so that's what this is, and I think this might be a movie you've never seen.
Okay.
I forgot to tell you to bring your asbestos suit today and your warmest parka, because we are watching Fire and Ice.
Ooh. I have not seen Fire and Ice.
All right.
I'm looking forward to it.
Released in 1983, FAI was directed by Ralph Bakshi and based on characters created by Bakshi and legendary fantasy illustrator Frank Frazetta. I'm sure you know who that is.
Mm-hmm.
The film uses Bakshi's signature rotoscoping animation technique, which he used in previous films such as Wizards and The Lord of the Rings. One of the voice actors in this is none other than Maggie Roswell, who is best known for her work on The Simpsons, as the voice of Helen Lovejoy, Maude Flanders, Miss Hoover, and others. Fire and Ice failed to recoup its $1.2 million budget, and critics were unkind. Gene Siskel of the Chicago Tribune gave it 2 stars out of 4, saying, quote, "Its slow-moving, predictable story makes viewing it much like reading a comic book with pages made of lead."
You would not be able to see through that comic book with an X-ray machine.
Not only was this DVD sent to our P.O. box by a generous viewer, it was sent by 2 generous viewers.
Oh,
So
my.
people really want us to watch this movie.
Appears that there is possibly a barbarian, and they may be fighting some orcs. I'm not sure.
We're going to find out. Hi, Jupiter. This is Jupiter, folks, the cat that I'm currently cat-sitting. He likes to get involved.
This orc looks to be wearing a starfish.
Okay. He probably is. I have here Variety's complete science fiction reviews, and I'm going to see if Fire and Ice is mentioned in it. Well, there it is right there. Hey, will you go play, please? Huh? Do you think you can do that for me? All right. Let's see. A 20th Century Fox pickup from Producer Sales Organization. The feature moves cautiously into the marketplace this weekend with selected openings. Both kids and a groundswell of older Frazetta and or Bakshi cult followers could turn a profitable dollar for this latest wrinkle on the sword and sorcery genre.
Huh. The sword and sorcery genre is typically lower, what we call lower fantasy than something like Lord of the Rings, and it's often barbarians with swords and lots of sex.
I hope we get all of that.
Yeah.
Your gift today is something that will help you break the ice.
Ooh. Best ever dinner party icebreakers.
Tool for socially inept people everywhere. So, you're standing at a party and you're looking around nervously and you say to the nearest person, if you could physically transport yourself to any place in the world at this moment, where would you go?
I've got something to do over there.
Bye. You failed me again, icebreakers.
What's the most violent action you've ever performed? That's an icebreaker.
That's going to get you kicked out of the party.
Seriously.
Put on your chainmail and descend into the dank depths where the old leather couch is, because we will be enjoying the fantasy epic Fire and Ice. Producers Sales Organization, worst studio name ever.
Yeah. Fire and ice equals water. The story of Fire and Ice begins at the end of the last ice age.
Juliana, an evil queen, is the mother of Necron, an evil prince.
And him she tooted in the black eye.
She tooted?
Apparently.
He uses his magical powers to send a glacier glaciering across the land toward Fire Keep, the home of his rivals. On the way, the glacier, along with Necron's army of subhumans, destroys a village. It's too much ice, we need a giant mojito!
As Necron strained and grunted and pushed his glacier south. He's having some ice gasms.
It is the village and the people of this blonde man. Looks like he's dead, doesn't he? He's not really. His name is Larn, but we don't find that out until much later in the picture.
Larn.
I am sending our envoys to Jarrah with our new demand.
I'm sending my invoice?
Yeah, it's... Look at the name of the studio, Brad. The subhumans are picking among the dead soldiers, looking for spoils and trinkets. Those creatures are orc adjacent.
Yes.
There's a chase through the jungle, and Larn escapes.
Larn.
At Fire Keep,
Looks like it's gonna rain today.
Princess Tigra, who wears very little clothing, is being scolded by her father, Gerald. She must go and learn her studies.
Earth, air, fire, and water.
And ice!
Your duty is to learn.
You mean my duty is to stay shut up?
Shut up. Gerald and his son Taro are met by emissaries from Juliana and Necron, and they propose an alliance. Gerald thinks that this is preposterous, but what he doesn't know is that subhumans are creeping towards his daughter's bedchamber, and they're going to kidnap her.
Suddenly...
She is spirited away into the jungle. Jiggle faster.
King Gerald
Dispatches his fleet of dragonhawks to try and find her, to no avail. They stop by a lake to rest.
Maybe a little seduction is in order.
She uses that to lull them into a dopey state of horniness so she can dive beneath the water and escape.
Subhumans, they don't understand swimming.
She runs around. The goons look for her. She floats down the river on a log. Okay, she's going to run into the blonde guy. Can we just get to that? We know what's going to happen. She's going to run into the blonde guy. And the blonde guy shows up. Come on.
Out of the water comes a giant crocodilian dinosaur.
It's just kind of one thing after another. Here's the blonde guy. The subhumans do a thing with a campfire, and they report back to Juliana.
Which I found very odd. Why would the ice people contact their leader via fire? Anyway, they did that to report what was going on.
She is none too happy.
You filth-spawn scum!
Filth Spawn Scum was my nickname in high school.
How'd you get that?
I don't like to talk about it.
Meanwhile,
Larn, the blonde man,
Larn
is chased by these wolves.
God's my father.
It speaks. He has a very girlish scream.
He really does.
And an arrow comes out of nowhere and kills one of the wolves. I wonder who that is. It saves Larn's bacon from the remaining beasts who retreat. In some jungle ruins,
Wi-Fi password.
he has a quick lunch on a dead pig and takes a nap. Someone sneaks up on him in his sleep. I just want some food.
You could have just asked. Don't just take my food. I gotta know that you want it, then I'll give it to you.
Well, if you want it, take it.
Take my meat.
He gives it to her and she says, I'm not a... No, okay.
I am not a thief.
I know you're not a thief. If you stole something, where would you put it?
This is how I pick berries.
And they start to journey around together. And there's romance? Just sleeping? I mean, what's...
Right.
Lauren certainly seems to have a low libido.
It's getting colder.
I wish I had socks.
Cold comes from Necron.
Cold comes from weather systems, dummy. There's a little bit of goofing around by a lake.
A huge Leviathan grabs Larn and pulls him down into the depths. When that beast gets really excited about food, he just goes, wow, wow, wow.
He narrowly escapes with his life.
The subhumans, meanwhile, have recaptured Tigra.
Larn wakes up. His injuries are being tended to by this man. They call me Cat Head Half. His name is Dark Wolf, which is never said in the movie. We learned that from the ending credits. I tied you up so I could cut you free. He knows where the princess is, and he and Larn go to rescue her.
Riding a single horse. This is a fantasy party of two barbarians. Usually not a good combination because they don't complement each other's skill set. They are so confident that she can't get away that they drink themselves into a stupor.
Me had too much White Claw.
Meanwhile,
Get out of here! Go find the girl!
Gerald tells his son Taro to go to Ice Peak.
we should negotiate with Necron.
Father, do you know what he will do if I enter his land under a flag of truce?
You must take that risk, my son.
Because I'm not going to take it. That's for diggity damn sure.
Ride swiftly.
Rice with me? What? She tries to escape, and this great big Magoo shows up. And carries her away to a little cabin in the woods.
Welcome to my heart. I am Roleel, and these woods are my home.
These two should have a pillow fight.
Indeed.
She drugs Tigra with a drink
Tell me your secrets.
and finds out some information about her.
The girl is wanted by Necron! The bitch! She brings danger to my house! Ah!
Bipolar much? If I turn her over to Necron, maybe he'll give me some money. She tells the big Magoo
Atwa.
Go and bring the subhumans.
and bring him back so they can negotiate. But he returns with an axe in his back.
And they kill Roleel as well.
Tigra is back in captivity. The hut sets on fire, and that's how Larn sees it. He goes there.
Why do the living disturb the sleep of the dead?
Tigra has been taken to the city,
And from there to the Icy King's realm.
so he goes there. She is on a ship that is bound for Ice Peak. Taro and his men are also going to Ice Peak to talk to Necron. Larn stows away on the boat. Tigra is brought before Necron.
Why have you brought me this?
She's so ugly.
This is your bride, my son.
Mate with her? Ugh. Gross, Mom. She pleads with him for peace, and she offers her hand in friendship. And Necron just laughs. Sorry, I was thinking about something else. What did you say? Someone has hurt him. We don't know who, but he's got a dark black heart.
I spit on you.
Probably trauma-based. I don't know. I'm no shrink.
Hang on.
Pharaoh arrives. He meets with Necron. I gotta.
He makes the prince kill all of his own soldiers and then himself.
Larn sees an opportunity to assassinate Necron. He gets him. It doesn't kill him, though. And they duel. I see London. I see France. I see nothing but underpants in this entire movie. Larn is the superior fighter, but Necron doesn't fight fair. Larn is imprisoned.
But he escapes.
He runs. There's snow. There's laughing. Necron, evil, easily amused.
Oop, pulled a hammy.
He's just about to be killed by subhumans when he is saved by Dark Wolf. Get him, Catface! They return to the fight. What? What is it called? Castle Fire? Firekeep. They return to Firekeep and talk with Gerald. We know where Princess Tigra is. Your son, unfortunately, is dead. Give us the Dragonhawks so we can lay siege to Ice Peak. Okay, take the Dragonhawks. But if that glacier doesn't stop...
I will have to release the lava.
You've got lava? The flock of Dragonhawks go to Ice Peak. They're all killed. They don't do much. Wolf Boy, Wolfhead, Dark Wolf, and Larn make it inside. And Necron is using his magic.
And it looks like Necron has the upper hand.
But Dark Wolf is too powerful.
Breaks through the spell.
Necron is killed.
Necron's death, however, does not stop the glaciers.
It becomes even more glaciery. Come on, do it. You said you were going to do it. You got to do it.
Release it.
Here comes that lava. Fire and ice.
There you go. There's a huge conflict of elements, ice and fire.
The lava engulfs Ice Peak. Tigra and Larn barely escape with their lives. And they wake up and it's a new land. There's no more Necron. And it's a chance to start over and live in peace. And it's a chance for Larn and Tigra to be in love.
Probably gonna bone.
Peace, love. Who would have thought it would have all come out of fire and ice?
There you go.
Fire and ice. You made a pretty important observation about this movie, kind of illustrating its main flaw.
So far, this blonde guy's done nothing.
Yeah?
Loses the princess and sneaks around and does nothing.
He's really accomplished nothing yet.
No. He killed a few subhumans. That's the most you can say about what he did.
Dark Wolf did a hell of a lot.
Yes.
He's the hero of the movie. And that name, Larn.
Larn.
There's a fundamental rule. It's in comedy, but I think in writing as well. Hard consonants are not only funny, but they're powerful sounding. Conan the Barbarian.
Right.
Turok, son of stone. These are good barbarian names. Larn.
Makes him sound like a nerd.
I know, and he's not. And we don't find out his name till way late in the movie. Larn? His name is Larn?
Apparently.
Because there's no reason for him to have a name.
Right.
Because he has no personality. There's that scene where they're walking and she says, I'll take you to my father's kingdom, but you'll have to behave yourself. And then he starts doing that little monkey act. This doesn't seem to fit. This guy's not a jokester. He's not in anything.
Yeah. Great sword and sorcery movies, they have an extremely charismatic protagonist and an extremely charismatic antagonist.
Yeah.
The antagonist was pretty charismatic.
He wasn't bad, yeah.
Yeah.
And Tigra a little bit. I was really glad to see that she's a damsel in distress throughout most of the movie, but she's pretty capable. I mean,
Yeah.
She's smart. She uses weapons and tools.
If she actually wore a belt or had some pouches, she'd probably be quite capable on her own.
Right. Much of the movie is this kind of cat and mouse chase. Tigra falling into captivity, escaping, falling again, escaping, and Larn just chasing after her. Which is relentless yet tedious.
Yeah.
You'd expect it to have a momentum to it. And it just feels like da-da-da-da-dee, da-da-dee-da-dee, da-dee-dee-dee, da-dee-dee-dee, da-dee-dee.
We said it when we were watching it, you know, when they introduced Roleel, we thought, oh, here's an interesting side story.
This is where the movie takes a left turn.
And it was over in 5 minutes, you know?
Right. When King Gerald says, you know, if none of this works out, I'm just going to have to release that lava. And it was getting to the end of the movie, and I thought, you got to release that lava. That can't just...
Absolutely.
That offer can't just be dropped.
Yeah.
When Darkwolf was killing Necron, where's the lava? When is he going to do the lava? But...
Yeah.
He did. The animation was pretty good. I've always thought rotoscoping just looks weird in other projects I've seen it in, and it seemed more integrated in this one.
Sometimes I would notice the movement seemed odd, bendy, kind of. But I think because it's fantasy, you could almost get away with that a little bit more.
Often sort of cheap animation, which Bakshi was known for. The characters don't seem to respond to gravity in the right way.
There's no ragdoll physics in this movie.
I have to say that for all of its flaws, which are many, I think it delivers. Like, if you want to see a fantasy story, a fantasy adventure, this will scratch that itch.
Absolutely.
Fire and Ice has retreated from view. It's time for us to go and warm ourselves up or cool down with a little bit of Seen It. Sean Henry writes, last night on Pandemic Playhouse, Three Amigos, 1986. Seen It.
Seen it as well.
I think this was John Landis really wanting to make a Mel Brooks movie.
Mm-hmm.
Damn it all, this was a movie I wanted to love.
Mm-hmm.
I really wanted to like it, much like Spaceballs.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't I just like, it's just not quite what I want it to be.
I remember enjoying it in sort of a I'm not blown away fashion, you know?
Yeah.
The talent of this cast could far exceed what the product was. And the premise is really pretty interesting.
These 3 silent movie actors show up in this town and they think that they're
the real heroes.
They're real heroes. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, it is a good premise. And the screenplay was by Landis, Lorne Michaels, and Randy Newman.
Really?
It was the only screenplay Randy Newman has ever written. Did Randy Newman just write that My Little Buttercup song? Is that his contribution?
Maybe. I mean, he gets full credit on the writing?
Yeah, I guess.
I guess so. Mr. Seven Frost says, Carpenter's The Thing is so atmospheric and terrifying. Agreed. Seen it. I have seen that probably 2 or 3 times. One thing I just realized, spoiler alert, but the movie's 40 years old, so. Yeah.
At the end of the movie, MacReady and Childs are totally both things.
Absolutely.
That never occurred to me the first times I saw it.
Yeah.
They are going to freeze solid. The rescue party is going to come in the spring, and these 2 are going to destroy the world.
Yes.
MacReady doesn't take the test, the blood test.
Yeah.
Presumably people think, well, because he came up with the idea, he can't be a creature. But of course he's a creature, because the creature mimics not just your face and your voice, but your intentions. So MacReady would want to destroy the other things.
Absolutely.
To protect itself and,
right.
accomplish its mission.
If he made that film today, would he use a lot more special effects and show more? But it's just a masterpiece of not showing more makes it so much better.
Yeah,
you know?
Definitely. No filters ever. I had recurring nightmares as a child where I would be somehow separated from my parents. I didn't know where this came from until rewatching Time Bandits as an adult. I know my parents had it taped off TV, so I must have watched it with them at some point, and the ending scarred my young psyche. Seen it.
This always remains in my top 10. It's got some of the sensibilities of Monty Python.
Well, and it's also totally The Wizard of Oz.
Yes.
It's a Wizard of Oz where the Munchkins are heroes.
Right.
Oz is great and powerful.
Yes.
And the Yellow Brick Road is the length and breadth of time and space.
Yeah. It pulls in elements of history.
What do you make of the ending? The boy wakes up, his house is on fire.
Yeah.
We see all of his toys, and that's where all the the dream and the imagination is coming from. And he comes outside, the fire's been put out, and his parents are just killed.
Yes.
What is that all about?
Is it still a dream? Or, hey, life's a total crapshoot?
There's no place like home, but your parents can die at any time.
Right, exactly. Matty Hawk says The Equalizer starring Denzel Washington, really great film with perfect pace and action, and a fantastic storyline, and sees Denzel at his best yet again.
Seen it.
I have the probably very unpopular opinion that Denzel almost always plays the same kind of character.
Okay.
And I like the fact that his character felt a little different, a little edgier, a little darker in these
quieter.
films. Yeah.
There's 2 action movie tropes that are featured in this movie. One is there's this indestructible government badass who is just living a quiet life somewhere and doing nothing. He's just reading books.
That is in another franchise I just watched, the John Wick movies.
The John Wick movies. It's in the movie Nobody with Bob Odenkirk. And then the other trope is he responds to a wrong by just destroying the world.
Yes.
It's neat when he does the thing. He looks at the watch. Everything slows down, and then he does his moves. Right. It's fun. It's neat.
Yeah.
I watched Equalizer 2 and 3, and they just keep getting worse and worse. Equalizer 3 was so bad, I immediately forgot that I watched it. And it was still on my movie list. And I was like, okay, I guess I better watch Equalizer 3. Wait a minute, I see Italy. I've seen this.
Yeah, I couldn't honestly tell you how the sequels are different from the original.
No. Go to welcometothebasementshow.com. That is our website. You can see the entire catalog of episodes that we've made over the last decade or so. And there are PayPal donation buttons that you can click on to make a one-time or rolling monthly donation to support this show. It's greatly appreciated. It's needed, and we like it. I want to shout out 2 people. John, or possibly Jan, from Norway, who gave a one-time donation. And our new rolling monthly donor, Ian, from over there in Wales. Thank you guys. Mwah. Brad will return next week for unboxing. That's going to be a lot of fun. This was a lot of fun, and you should now take a look at this.
have to recover the black box recorder to find out what happened there.
Yes.
I spit on you.